Wolverhampton Wanderers against Chelsea in our first midweek Premier League game of the season. As Chelsea go up against a team that is a good team but haven't been picking up good results for a while now. But the big question is, how much rotating is Sarri gonna do with Manchester City in mind on the following weekend? To find out everything you need to know about both sides, make sure you watch all of this preview. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my preview of the Wolverhampton Wanderers Wolves game against Chelsea, taking place tomorrow evening at 7:45, of course away at Wolves. And it is a game I'm looking forward to, midweek Premier League games. We haven't had that so far this season, so I always kind of like it. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. Of course, this is the preview. There will be a review, there will be fan cams, there will be a vlog, all sorts of content surrounding the game. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also, let's see whether we can hit 400 or more likes in this video. That would be massively appreciated. So please do make sure you smash the like button down below. I would massively appreciate it. But now, before getting into the preview itself, just quickly let me run you through my thoughts of the Fulham game, which as you should know, I couldn't watch and couldn't review at the time, but have watched since and can obviously now comment on. And in my opinion, it was actually a decent game. Not a great game, but a decent game. As it has been happening for a while now, not enough movement and the passing was too slow. Although it was better than it was against Tottenham, it's still not as good as it has to be and should be. Fulham did have a good dangerous period for about the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half. But overall, I think we controlled the game well. Of course, after taking the lead 4 minutes into the game, we I think, all expected a more comfortable victory. But we won 2-0, and that second goal by Loftus Cheek was a great goal. And that goal showed exactly why we need to move more and pass quicker. That goal is exactly what can and will happen if we do those two things, because it was a great passing move and a great finish, obviously, by the youngster, and hopefully he can get some more game time. But now enough about the Fulham game, and now getting into the preview of the Wolves game. And obviously, as always, speaking about our opposition Wolves, to start it off with, Wolves currently sit in 12th on 16 points from the 14 games played so far, with 4 wins, 4 draws and 6 defeats, while scoring 13 goals and conceding just 17. Now, scoring 13 goals ain't great, but conceding just 17 is more than decent, especially considering they're a promoted side. But Wolves' season has kind of been a bit weird. I mean, it didn't start off great with no wins in August, but then they went on a run of 4 wins and a draw, throughout September and start of October. But then that win at Palace on October 6th was their last win and clean sheet of the season so far. Since then, 5 losses and 1 draw against Arsenal, although they did get a little bit unlucky in some of those defeats, especially the 2 recent ones, but also against Tottenham, in which, a lot of things went wrong for them, refereeing decision and just getting purely unlucky. Interestingly, under manager Nuno Santo, they basically always play in some sort of a 3-4-3 formation, which, of course is also part why they haven't been conceding many goals, because as we know, more, better than most, that 3 at the back formation turns into a 5 at the back very, very quickly and easily. And that is obviously never easy to break down for an opponent. Danger man-wise, they have no outstanding goal scorer. Raul Jimenez is on 3 goals and is top of their goal scorers list. But a fair few others are also on 2 goals. So, like I said, no one that really stands out. Now, even though they might not always be the biggest goal threats, the likes of João Moutinho and Ruben Neves, we'll have to look out for them too. Why? Well, because they're just both 2 very good players. With an absolute engine, they run like mad. I didn't think, especially how Moutinho at his age had that in him, but he does apparently. They're both capable of dictating the game, and Ruben Neves especially is also capable of some absolute screamer goals. So, let's not give him too much space once he comes within, let's say, 35 yards of our goal. Let's not do that. Let's not concede some screamers, and, obviously kind of shut them down as well as we can. Now, like I said, they are a good team in my opinion. I rate their manager very highly. I like what he's doing. They're tactically, 9 times out of 10 on point, at least whenever I watch them. And they do have some very good players. So even though they've had, a lot of poor results recently, I do expect a very difficult game. But that is really it about the Wolves, and now getting into Maurizio Sarri's pre-match press conference. And Sarri started it off by saying that there are no injuries and everyone is available for tomorrow's game, which is obviously good. But he did say that Marcos Alonso and Mateo Kovacic did have small problems in the last game, obviously against Fulham. But the doctor has since said that they are both fine to play and should be, like I said, they're not injured, so they are available for tomorrow. Sarri admitted that Alonso had a back injury, but says that it's no excuse, for him playing as badly as he did, because, Alonso really had a poor game. Really had a poor game. But, Sarri said he knows that, and also Alonso know that he just didn't have a good game. Now, it was then also announced that AZPILICUETA has actually signed a new deal at Chelsea that lasts until 2022, by which, he will be 33, close to turning 34. Now, reportedly, that deal is worth around £135,000 a week, And Sarri said that Azpi is a very important player for everyone at the club, the staff, the coaches, and his teammates as well. Just generally for the whole club, he's very important. And, the boss said that he is very happy about him signing that new contract. And to be honest, so am I, because everyone loves Azpi. Even if sometimes we think he's maybe not fully suited to, that right back position under Sarri at the moment. Let's hope he can improve and make that position his own. We shall see. Then Mauricio Sarri was asked what Ruben Loftus Cheek has to do to become a regular starter at Chelsea. And the boss said that while Ruben hasn't started in the league so far, even though he has played quite a few times, he played almost all of the non-league games, whether that was then in the Cup or in Europa League. And Sarri said that Ruben is a very important player for him and the whole team. At the start, Sarri said Ruben had some problems adapting to the new style of football and to what Sarri exactly wanted from him, but he has improved a lot and the boss was very, very happy with his recent performances. And then, like he already did a few weeks ago, Sarri very clearly ruled out a move away from Chelsea for Loftus Cheek in January, which is obviously great. Let's hope that stays the same for the summer as well. But, in January, it sure doesn't look like he's going anywhere, even though, some of the newspapers, really try to make us believe that it is going to happen, but I don't think so. I don't think Ruben is going anywhere. The boss was then also asked about the reports that came out yesterday, stating that we've actually made an official £70 million bid for Dortmund's Christian Pulisic. And, all that Sarri said on it was that Pulisic is a player of Dortmund, and it would be unprofessional to speak about him. You should, by now know my standpoint on Pulisic. Don't want him. If we do sign him, I would of course support him, but I don't want him, especially for that price. But moving on with the press conference, Cesc Fabregas and David Luiz, both their contracts expire at the end of the season. And Sarri said that he would actually like to keep the both of them and basically give them new contracts, and has actually told the club about that about a month ago. Now, he knows that it's not always easy, to sort out these new deals, but things that, the new deals can be found and can be signed, especially, as they are over 30, it isn't easy because the club obviously prefers short contracts while the players obviously want longer contracts. So that's always what makes the contract negotiations a little bit tricky once the players reach a certain age. Sarri simply said, when he was asked why he wants to keep those two as they are over 30, he said it's very difficult to find a centre-back of David Luiz's quality and of the level that we need them at, and also to find a central midfielder with the technical abilities of Cesc Fabregas. And also, stated that both of them are leaders and are very important to the club, which I don't think you can deny that both those two are leaders. And while I know a lot of you will disagree with that statement by Sarri, I do agree with him. Hate me for it or not, I do agree with him because, hear me out. Cahill will leave. Whether that's in January or in the summer, he will leave. Now, if Luiz left as well, we need to buy two centre-backs, realistically. Unless we want Ampadu and someone like maybe Tomori, as two of our backups, basically. But, if we want to compete with Man City long-term, we'll have to replace Gary Cahill with a top-notch centre-back. If Luiz left as well, we'd have to basically buy two top-notch centre-backs to make that position be even harder, fought for, than it is already with Christensen already barely playing. So, it's just big money that would have to be spent that isn't necessarily necessary, because we could just replace Cahill, with someone that's better than David Luiz and then put Luiz on the bench kind of thing. That logic rather than spending on two centre-backs, because that just wouldn't make that much sense. And as for Fabregas, well, just tell me one single central midfielder with the technical abilities of Cesc that is willing to sit on the bench for most of the league games. You're not going to find many, if any at all, so that's pretty obvious why Sarri would like to keep Fabregas. But that's really it about the press conference and now getting into Chelsea. And I actually found predicting, the lineup for this game rather tricky, I cannot lie. Because, like I said earlier, this is the first, Premier League midweek game of the season, and it's not, the League Cup or a lesser, Europa League opposition. So it will be interested to see how much rotating, if any, Mauricio Sarri will do. Kepa will obviously stay in goal, and I'm also pretty sure that all of Rudiger, David Luiz and AZPILICUETA will stay in the side. But on Alonso, I'm not sure. Not just because he had a bad game on the weekend, because, he was poor, but just because of that back injury, and also, with hoping for him to be fully fit against City if his back isn't perfect, maybe. But then the question is, will it be Emerson that comes in instead of him and leaving the others, the rest the same? Or will it be David Zappacosta that comes in and moving AZPILICUETA to the left-back position, like it happened when Zappacosta came on for Alonso during the Fulham game? That will be interesting to see, if Alonso doesn't play, who comes in instead of him? Impossible to predict, in my opinion. Then coming to midfield, I think Cesc Fabregas might actually start. I do think that Kante will stay in the side, but I don't think Kovacic will start. Whether that's also with his, kind of minor injury that he had, in the last couple of days, which was an ankle injury. Plus, according to Sarri, he was a little bit tired when, he was subbed off on Sunday. So, it doesn't suggest that he will start tomorrow, because I'm still assuming that he will start against City. Now, Ross Barkley reported he didn't make the bench against Fulham because of a minor injury, but Sarri didn't mention any any of that today or, after the game, because obviously apparently it happened between the last press conference, on Thursday or even on Wednesday last week, and obviously the game against Fulham. So it is tricky to know when that injury happened, if there was an injury or not. But whether Barkley's fit or not, I do believe that Ruben Loftus Cheek has earned himself a start in the league now. With him coming on, we regained control of the game on Sunday, I thought. He sparked Hazard to life because Hazard wasn't doing much before then. As soon as Ruben was on, there was a lot more happening. And Ruben scored. What more could you possibly ask him? In my opinion, he just has to start. And then the front three. Well, Sarri said last week that Hazard needs 2 games and about a week's training to get back to his best, obviously, after a few minor injuries. Now, obviously, to be at his best for City is kind of the aim. So he will probably start tomorrow, but come off after around an hour, maybe after the first half, but probably after around an hour, with then Pedro obviously coming on for him. I'm assuming Pedro, by the way, top class against Fulham, very good performance by him. Kind of deserves to start, because of that. But actually, he just deserves to start against City, doesn't he? Because obviously that is the bigger game. So I would start Willian tomorrow. And, like I said, Pedro against City on the weekend. Up front, though, like the striker. Well, to be honest, I have absolutely no idea who I prefer to start. They're both kind of decent. And then they're both kind of not. Morata had that miss. Although I think it looked worse than it was. It was still not a great miss, let's be honest. The only thing I can say is start whoever we don't want to start against City. And I don't think that we're going to outpass City. And that's mainly what, Giroud is good for. Obviously, except crossing. But Morata is also good with his head. Actually scores more headers than Giroud. A lot more of them. And maybe Morata is more, factually, is more suited to use the space, that City might leave him behind. So with that, I'd say start Olivier Giroud tomorrow. Because Wolves probably won't leave much of that space in behind. So, maybe Giroud is better suited for that game anyway. So this is what Sarri could. And I would go with tomorrow. And I don't think it's all that unlikely either. So we could see it. Obviously, in a 4-3-3 formation, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, then a back 4 of Cesar Azpilicueta and Emerson Palmieri as the 2 fullbacks, then a centre-back partnership of David Luiz and Antonio Rudiger, then a midfield 3 of, like I said, Cesc Fabregas and N'Golo Conte, and I'm just, like I said, Ruben Loftus Cheek has to start. I don't even care. He has to start, so I'm putting him in there. Then a front 3 of Eden Hazard and Willian on the right, and then obviously, like I said, Giroud up front, but I don't care if it's Giroud and Morata. Don't really care, in all honesty. Like I said, I expect a very difficult game tomorrow. Moving a lot, passing quickly, and pressing well will be even more important than it was against Fulham. I expect kind of a more tricky game than it was against Fulham, even though that wasn't easy in the first place. And me saying that Fabregas should and maybe will start, I actually think that would be very helpful to us because of their back 5, to break that down. Because, Fabregas is certainly a lot more likely to find that killer ball, whether that's, through the middle or over the top, than Jorginho is. Because Fabregas isn't as good at dictating and directing the game, but his eye for and the execution of, a pass is second to none. And, against deep sitting, defenses, I think Fabregas can actually be a little bit more helpful than Jorginho. But, when if that happens tomorrow, we'll have to see whether that's actually the case. My score prediction is going to be another 2-0 victory. Similar to Fulham, I think it's going to be more hard-earned than the scoreline might suggest. But yeah, that's really it for me. Leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Leave me your lineup predictions and your scoreline predictions down in the comment section below. Let's see whether we can hit 400 likes on this video. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. I would massively appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my social media, which is Lars1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description below. So if you could follow me over there, that'd be absolutely great. And of course, this is YouTube, so if you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads so you don't miss any of our future videos. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.